We in the justice sector knows that justice is a universal human value. All of us who are working in the judiciary and the legal fraternity, or earning our bread in the name of justice, are tasked with providing justice to the people in different capacities. First of all, let me convey to you the warm greetings and the best wishes of the Honorable Chief Justice of the Supreme Court of Bhutan to the Honorable Chief Justice of the People's Republic of Bangladesh, Mr. Justice Obaidul Hassan, and the learned members of the judicial and legal fraternity of Bangladesh. Let me commend the Supreme Court of Bangladesh for organizing this timely conference on this very important topic. This conference brings together the best legal minds of the region, as well as it creates a forum, an opportunity for us to share and exchange our knowledge and experience and learn and grow together in our profession of dispensing justice and upholding the rule of law, democracy, and human rights. As we all know, democracy is a universal value based on the freely expressed will of the people to determine their own political, economic, social, and cultural systems, and their full participation in all aspects of their lives, and that democracy, development, and respect for all human rights and fundamental freedoms are interdependent and mutually reinforcing. Constitutions are the founding text on which societies reflect their aspirations and values that they aim to achieve. The concept of constitutionalism provides a set of values and principles in conformity with the concepts, values, principles, and standards set out in the Universal Human Rights, Constitution, and international law. At the core of such values and principles is the rule of law. While the context of our country vary, constitutionalism embodies values such as voice, participation, representation, non-discrimination, transparency, accountability, separation of power, judicial independence, and human rights, including the right to effective remedies. The crucial task is to move forward from the values and principles to the establishment of constitutional orders. That is, the institution and processes of governance that ensure the practice of constitutionalism. Only then can a constitution truly become a social compact between the government and the governed. Promoting and establishing the rule of law is essential for the protection of human rights of every individual. It is also a fundamental foundation for a strong democracy. A constitutional order makes the difference between a mere rule by law and the rule of law, which respects, protects, and promotes the most cherished of all human rights, the right to be human. Establishing a constitutional order becomes all the more challenging in societies where the need is for inclusive democratic governance, not only for the majority groups, but also, importantly, for minorities and for vulnerable and disadvantaged groups as well. Otherwise, laws can be a source of injustice and a denial if they do not meet the three core principles that, number one, no one is above the law. Number two, all persons are equal. All persons are entitled to equal protection of the law. And number three, for every right, there must be a remedy. The understanding and application of the rule of law is one that stresses and values the rights of the individuals. It is a principle that everyone, from the individual to the state, is accountable to the laws, which are publicly promulgated, equally enforced, independently adjudicated, and are consistent with international human rights and standards. Now, allow me to highlight the experience of constitution making in my country. Ours is a 34-article, 2,500-word constitution drafted by a 39 constitution drafting committee upon the command of the fourth king, His Majesty Jigme Singye Wangchuk, in 2001. The constitution enshrines the principles and values upon which the Bhutanese society is founded. It provides the roadmap and the framework for the governance of a country. It is a living or an organic document which envisages growth, change, and progress of the country with time. There has been only a handful of cases involving constitutional interpretations, and so far we did not have a single amendment in the last 16 years now. That may be due to the far-sightedness of the eminent people who drafted the constitution, including our former Chief Justice of the Supreme Court of Bhutan, Lempo Sonam Togye. It may be also due to our advantage of our small size and learning from the experiences of other countries, such as Bangladesh. Our preamble of the 18 July 2008 Constitution states, "We, the people of Bhutan, blessed by the triple gem, the protection of our Gojan deities, the wisdom of our leaders, the everlasting fortune of the Kalyan Drupa, and the guidance of His Majesty Drugalpo Jigme Gesar Namgyal Wangchuk, solemnly pledging ourselves to strengthen the sovereignty of Bhutan, to secure the blessing of liberty, to ensure justice and tranquility, and to enhance unity, happiness, and well-being of the people for all time. Do hereby ordain and adopt this constitution for the Kingdom of Bhutan on the 15th day of the 5th month of the male Earth year, corresponding to the 18th day of July 2008. The Bhutanese constitution making process illustrates well the practice of inclusive constitution making. The process leading up to the constitution's adoption consciously involved the citizenry of the country. The process in the lead up to the formation of the Constitution Drafting Committee in 2001 was very important. All key stakeholders participated in the drafting of the Constitution to ensure its longevity. Ours, like the Constitution of many other countries, is basically a power-sharing agreement. The conscious involvement of the people has been very crucial, as well as placing national interests above the individual interests. It required institutions and consultations to take this process forward. The copies of the draft constitution was distributed around the country to elicit the view of the people in factories, the streets, hospitals, schools, communities, farms, and offices. And public input were received via email, meetings, surveys, and contributions from the internet. This helped us discern what people believed to be the basic principles and values of a democratic country. Similarly, the proceedings of the constitution making were very open and transparent, with a very high level of public education on the issues. Everybody was able to contribute, and this resulted in a text that resonated greatly with the general public. We also researched the constitutions of other countries and benefited from the technical expertise and lessons learned from international experiences. However, there is a risk of constitution to remain a mere promise on the paper if the judiciary is not able to uphold the constitution and enforce its applicability alongside the government. In our case, the Constitution Drafting Committee was headed by the Chief Justice of Bhutan, who was an experienced jurist. Ladies and gentlemen, we in the justice sector know that justice is a universal human value. All of us who are working in the judiciary and the legal fraternity, or earning our bread in the name of justice, are tasked with providing justice to the people in different capacities. Law is the index of an advancement of a country. And an efficient judiciary is the hallmark of the effective administration of justice. While proliferation of laws might indicate over-regulation of a society, it also indicates the transparency of the dispensation of justice. Bhutan has been a free, fair, and a just society under the leadership of our successive kings. And our judiciary has tried to dispense justice expeditiously and inexpensively. Given our size and population, where almost everybody knows everybody, we have tried to mediate the cases amicably in the society and community with the involvement of community leaders and village elders. The courts have been the institution of last resort, and the litigious people are often frowned upon for harassment or dragging the people to the courts. To prevent adversarial and divisive outcome of the courts, we encourage the people to withdraw their cases and settle out of courts. The Bhutanese judiciary has initiated continued reforms in response to the rapid growth and development of our country. The lay judges have been fully replaced now by the professional judges with LLB, LLM, and PhD degrees. In recent years, Bhutan has witnessed a significant change in its legal system, especially with the framing of a written constitution. And now we are poised to initiate further reforms to keep pace with the transformative changes initiated by the King. Article 1, Section 13 of the Constitution provides for the co-equal three branches of the government, the judiciary, the executive, and the legislature, and forbids mutual interference between them. The Constitution reinforces the independence of the judiciary and is charged with the promotion of justice and the rule of law. The Constitution insulates the judiciary from the political influence and is armed with the power of judicial review to check the executive excesses. While the judiciary's effort to resist external pressure are commendable, public perception and expectations play a crucial role. There are instances where the public still perceives the judiciary as a slow or ineffective, leading to skepticism about its ability to deliver justice promptly. Therefore, judicial misconduct breaks down the very fiber of what is necessary for a functional judiciary. We should never give an opportunity to the people to believe that their judges are unfair, partial, or corrupt. The judiciary cannot exist without the trust and confidence of the people. Judges must therefore be accountable to the legal and ethical standards. Article 1, Section 11 of the Constitution designates the Supreme Court as the guardian of the Constitution and the final authority on its interpretation. The judiciary is a critical institution for safeguarding constitutional rights, principles, and maintaining the delicate power balance. Continued efforts to reinforce judicial independence and address public concerns will be essential for the judiciary to fulfill its role as the guardian of justice. Bhutan has been a welfare state. The first and the foremost missions of our successive kings has been the promotion of welfare and the well-being of the people. Basic education and medical services are provided free to the people. Courts are people-friendly or people-centric, as the theme of this conference rightly emphasizes. We believe that justice should not be monetized or commercialized. Otherwise, justice will remain elusive for the common people. Most of the cases are adjudicated pro se, and there is only a handful of private lawyers in the country. We have legal aid services for the indigent litigants, where there is a risk of miscarriage of justice due to lack of economic means, especially when faced with professional legal counsels of the opposing parties. We in Bhutan perceive cases and disputes as diseases to be cured. Therefore, judges are entrusted with the sacred duty of diagnosing and treating these diseases. Judges use the tools of law to settle disputes and enhance the happiness of the people. Therefore, our legal system is not purely adversarial with technical win-lose outcomes. Parties are required to make adjustment and compromise in their rights and entitlements throughout the journey of litigation, leading to win-win outcomes. This is aimed at preserving the cooperation and harmony in the community, especially in the villages where people live together and share common resources on a daily basis. In keeping with the Buddhist concept of avoiding extreme sensual pleasures and asceticism, we seek to strike the middle path by counseling the parties to give up something for the higher and bigger purpose of promoting peace and happiness. We have almost no backlog of pending cases in Bhutan. We dispose a case within an average of 6 months, and by any means within 12 months. At the appellate court, we dispose most of the cases within 2 to 3 months from the date of its registration. And in Bhutan, we follow a planned reformation of the judiciary. We have Justice Sector Strategic Plan. We have Judiciary Strategic Plan. So alongside the national plan, we have our own Judicial Strategic Plan to reform the judiciary. Judiciary Strategic Plan for 2022 to 2024 identifies 4 strategic goals and several strategic objectives to be achieved by the end of 2032. The first strategic goal is to inspire public trust and confidence in the judiciary. The second strategic goal is to enhance access to justice. The third strategic goal is to consolidate the independence of the judiciary. The final strategic goal is to enhance institutional linkages and collaboration with other countries. Therefore, one of my missions to come to this conference is to enhance institutional linkage with your judiciary, and we look forward to forging a strong relationship whereby we will learn and benefit from your great judiciary here, which has longer history than ours, and which has many learned jurists and scholars here. Now let me talk about the challenges that we face. Of course, our challenges are not very different from the other judiciaries who do similar work of dispensing justice. Proliferation of laws passed by successive government on myriad and complex issues, where the capacity of the judges and judicial personnel find difficult to keep pace with. So while a lot of laws are being passed by the parliament, by the successive parliament, the judiciary lacks the capacity to keep pace with the proliferating laws on very technical issues. The perpetual financial and budgetary problem constrains the judiciary in achieving and doing what it plans to do. But I'm sure that here in Bangladesh, you're given good attention by the government in terms of budgeting. But in my country, it's a very challenge to convince the government to give us the sufficient fund to initiate the reforms that we want to achieve. Recruiting and retaining the right human resources in right numbers amidst the increasing attrition rate. So we don't have sufficient people at the sufficient level, rightly qualified people. So we are perpetually requesting government to give us sufficient human resource and sufficient money to spend. The continuing legal education of the judicial personnel to keep pace with the change and development taking place in the country. Judges have to keep continuously learning and updating their knowledge about what's happening in the world. So we in Bhutan find it very difficult to make judges learn and train and update and move with the time, because judges often feel that, not you of course, I'm saying Bhutanese judges, they feel that they know everything and they have finished learning. I hope they don't hear. So we find difficulty in keeping pace with the changes swirling in the world. The world is moving. We need to learn, but we are a very slow learner. And once we land on the chair, we feel very heavy to wake up, or rise up. Increasing pressure on the judges and judicial personnel amidst increasing workload and complicated legal matters. There is an increasing workload on the judges. More laws means more crimes. More crimes means more laws, and more laws means more work for the judges, which nobody thinks. So there's a lot of pressure on the judges to keep up with the increasing workload. So may I suggest few way forward now vis-a-vis our context. We know that a little bit of friction is required for us to move. We know that we have to move a little bit to move forward, and there will be no growth without challenges and problems. It is the challenges and problems that makes us grow. As rightly perceived and conceived by the Supreme Court of Bangladesh, the courts and the judiciaries belong to the people, not to the judges and lawyers. People are the boss and the master. We must serve with humility, not with arrogance and rent-seeking attitude. And as hosts in the court, we must treat the litigants as our guests with humility and courtesy. People expect the judges and us to know everything about and have solutions to all the problems in the life and the world. We are expected to possess divine knowledge and foresight. Therefore, we must not become fossilized once we are appointed to the bench. We must stay intellectually ahead of people and litigants by learning, unlearning, and relearning. After all, law is nothing but the perfection of reason and common sense made difficult. Court is a hostile and adversarial place which intimidates most people. If people have choice, they will never come to the court. But people are compelled to come to the court when their rights are trampled. So be polite and treat people even though they may lose their case. Let's afford them a healing or therapeutic jurisprudence, therapeutic hearing. At least lend our patient ears to them and let them be healed through our hearings, through our words. We must listen more and speak less in the court. Somebody rightly said that over-talking judge is an ill-tuned symbol. We believe that people come to court in search of ears who may listen to their grievances, not to be lectured upon by the judges and the lawyers. So let us listen more, speak less. Lastly, I would like to thank once again the Supreme Court of Bangladesh for this timely conference. It provides us a forum for sharing our judicial experience and best practices across the borders. In fact, we are doing the same work of dispensing justice to people in our different contexts and different people, but we are doing the same work of dispensing justice. The so-called borders are the lines drawn on the paper by our political masters. For the justice, there's no border. People are same everywhere. They desire love, peace, justice, and happiness. So may I once again thank the Honorable Chief Justice of the Supreme Court of Bangladesh and its able team for the noble leadership of organizing this conference. I assure you that what you have spent in this workshop or the conference is an investment for the cause of promoting justice, peace, and happiness in our region. Let me tell you that I am returning from this land of Bangabandhu Sheikh Mujibur Rahman with a lot of gratitude in my heart. I am greatly enriched by the knowledge and experiences I acquired from this conference, And I will replicate in my country for the benefit of people. Once again, thank you very much.